commitments other places. We'll now turn to the introduction of bills that are sponsored by members who are here on the committee and the dais as well. Mr. Horsford, let's turn to yours first, 2015. You're recognized for 5 minutes to introduce your legislation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, to you and to the ranking member, Mr. Grijalva, for scheduling this hearing today. The consensus on this important and bipartisan bill, H.R. 2015, truly is remarkable. I have dozens of letters, resolutions, and statements of support from countless elected officials, community leaders, and citizen groups who are all asking this Congress to recognize Tule Springs be designated as a national monument. And Mr. Chairman, I would like to ask that they be included in the record, with your permission. Permission to include those in the record. Thank you. I also want to highlight just a few of those letters of support. In November 2009, 3 governmental entities, the Clark County Commission and the mayors and city council members of Las Vegas and North Las Vegas, unanimously passed resolutions asking Congress to make Tule Springs a part of the national park system. H.R. 2015 and its Senate companion are co-sponsored by all members of Nevada's congressional delegation, and I'm thankful that Congresswoman Titus, Congressman Heck, my fellow member here on the committee, Congressman Amadei, and I all are here today to show support for this legislation. And I want to thank my colleagues in the Congress for their leadership and support of this important bipartisan bill. Our city and county officials did important groundwork by coordinating an active coalition of local supporters to define the boundaries in a way that will serve both the national interest and our local population. Additionally, we worked very closely with the U.S. Air Force on this legislation to carefully define a critical military air corridor between Nellis and Creech Air Force bases by protecting airspace above the national monument. Finally, I want to point out that the administration testified in support of this legislation when our colleagues in the Senate examined this bill earlier in the year. Due to the current government shutdown, the Department of Interior is not able to be here today to testify, but I'd ask the chairman to allow the administration to submit their testimony after this hearing once the government reopens. This area is indeed unique and definitely has a place as a national, as a new part of the national park system. The local economic benefits are clear. Tule Springs will increase tourism by attracting more travelers to Southern Nevada and by increasing their stay in our region. The area is expected to attract scientists from around the world and capture the imagination and interest of children and adults alike. Establishing the Tule Springs Fossil Beds National Monument would make the region a world-class destination for archaeological tourism that will revitalize Southern Nevada's economy and enhance the area's quality of life. The monument is expected to generate jobs to build the monument's infrastructure and permanent jobs and businesses to support the monument's gateway needs. In addition, community leaders intend to locate geosciences and technology businesses in the local area. Community leaders have also discussed design features for bordering development with plans for a nearby satellite campus for the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. Finally, Mr. Chairman, I must also point out that the region is an archaeological treasure. Columbian mammoths, massive beasts with tusks as long as 10 feet and molars the size of a human head, once roamed here, as did prides of American lion and herds of bison, dire wolves and saber-toothed cats, the sloths the size of a small sports car. Tule Springs Fossil Beds National Monument is significant for an array of national and historic resources, specifically fossils from the ice ages. Fossils discovered in this arid desert terrain harken back to a time when the area was lush with vegetation, a span of 200,000 years of geologic time which offers rare scientific opportunities to study the rise and demise of Ice Age species. I'd like to thank you, Mr. Chairman, for scheduling today's hearing and for accepting the request to invite our mayor from the city of North Las Vegas, John Lee, Councilman Steve Ross, who has served as my councilman for my local area and who represents the area of where Tule Springs will be located, as well as Las Vegas Metro Chamber President and CEO, Kristen McMillan, as witnesses on this important bipartisan legislation that grows our economy, creates jobs, and will have significant positive research and education opportunities for the region of Southern Nevada. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, for this hearing and to our witnesses who are here today.
Thank you, Mr. Horsford, and as I said before, we're happy to have you back here, and hopefully you're feeling well.
Feel great. Thank you.
Good.
Good to be back.